Hey guys, welcome back. On this episode, we're going to be putting a feature wall up into the attic. Now, I've got a whitewash batten, which is going to be going vertically with a 25mm space in between. And it's going to be on this wall, up the stairs, and also on the opposite wall over there. Now, I've gone ahead and I've plastered and painted this, so it's all ready to go. It's just a matter of putting these battens on with the correct spacings, nice and plumb, and we'll have the feature wall. Alright, so with this wall here, I've actually packed out 13mm extra, so when the batten goes on, it's actually going to be flush with the front of the stairs here. Now I'm going to set this first one back 25mm from the edge, and then the other batten here will come past and create the shadow on this corner. Okay, so we've got a few battens on going across here. Now this external is not exactly plumb, so what I'm doing is keeping that margin the same. You can't notice that these are slightly out, but I'm slowly feathering them out to get them back true, and also double checking the measurement between this last batten and the internal here, because you don't want to get to the corner and have a really different sort of margin running up there. So you want to try and keep it as parallel as to this internal as you're working your way across, while keeping them nice and true. Right, there we have it. We have one wall complete. Now it's to start on this one going up the stairs. Now this one's going to be a little bit more time consuming, as I need to cut around the stair treads. I don't know how it's exactly going to work yet, but you know, I'm just going to cut around it when it needs to be cut around. This first one here has to run past to the face of this, and then we can basically continue up the stairs. Alright, so I've come across with this little detail just here where the stair treads at the nosing runs past the batten. Now, once I cut this in here to continue it down, it just looks out of place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut just the front edge of this. I do need to be careful I don't hit the LED inside, but all I need is this piece just to run past, so it just takes your eye away from that edge. So this batten will continue all the way to the floor. Now I probably should have done this before I put this batten on, but hey, look, you do make mistakes. So I'm going to cut this with a hacksaw. I don't have a fine tooth saw. I think just this blade would be the best part, just to try and chip this away, just to get a cut, and then I can get a chisel in here just to take away the front edge. As you can see, that looks a lot better now that it just follows through. I'll come back later and do a touch up with some normal gaps just for all the holes, and touch up some of the black paint, obviously where I've just chipped it out there. But I like that a lot better now that that batten runs to the floor. Right, so this next one here, I need to notch it around this top bulkhead here, because it actually runs all the way up. So what I'll do is I'll measure that, I'll notch it out with the jigsaw, and then we can fit this one off. Okay, so now we got majority of the feature wall complete on this side. I do need to finish the remaining feature wall on this black wall, but what I'm going to do is get onto the railing. Now I've got this post here which needs to be cut down to height, but first I need to notch it around the front of this stair tread here. So it's going to be a little bit tricky trying to get all these right cuts and angles, but we should get there. So I'm going to start with that, and then I'm going to work on the actual balustrade. I will be running cables in between here, but I've got to do a timber surround first, and then I can finish that feature wall coming up to it. Right, so we've got the post. It's just sitting there in position at the moment. It's already quite rigid, so it's that's nice. It means that, you know, it's not going to get wobbly. Now I'm going to paint this post black, so I can drill through the face and bog the holes, so I'm not too phased about that, but I am going to try and conceal the bottom screws with this side panel. So I'm going to undo this side panel here. I'm going to fix through the back of that so it pulls into this one. I'd rather it bite into the solid timber rather than biting into the MDF. Alright, so we've got the post all nice and plumb. I did pull it back off because I did forget to cut this to height, so I've done that, and also I have glued it in now as well, so once that glue goes off it should stop any squeakiness if there is any movement, but there shouldn't be much anyway. So next is to put a top plate on top of this one, so I'm going to cut it in between here and up to the top there, and then I've got to do the handrail, which will be the header. I will be running cables in between, and then there will be a handrail that goes up at the correct height all the way up. So first things, let's find out what this angle is and get this piece cut in here. Alright, so I need to work out this angle here just so I can cut the end of it. Best thing about this Festool saw is that it comes with this tool, which you can work out what your compound miters are. So you basically just get in like that. You tighten it up to what we want the angle to be. Now normally if you wanted to do a mitre right here, so that blends nicely into that one, you would set this up on your fence of your saw and you would put the laser line straight along that, and that'll give you the perfect cut. But in my scenario I'm going to be following this wall, so I'm going to be working out this angle against the fence, and then that's going to be my laser line there. So what I do is then I bring it over to the saw here, I put it along there, and I get my laser line running right along this edge here. And then we lock it off. Alright, so we've got this cut in place, and now we're going to fix it down. Now, I'm going to end up painting all these black, so I'm not too fussed about drilling and just bogging the hole. So I'm going to drill a hole, fix them into the top of this panel, and then I'll start working on to actually the vertical one and then the handrail. Right, so now we've got this all fixed off, we're going to work on this mid rail here. Now I'm going to get the height of what my balustrade is. I'm going to come up, might actually come down probably around 50mm from the top of this post, and then I'll work out where it needs to be, and I'll cut this one in just so I can get a height and I can get the angles on that. Right, so there we go. Here's our handrail, nice and solid. I do have to do the cables in between, but I'll do that at a later time. Now it's just to finish off this feature wall around it, and then this will be all done. Right, there you have it. The feature wall is complete. I think it looks absolutely unreal. I still need to do the cables on the balustrade here, and also need to run a handrail up, which I can do at a later time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you took some information from it. If you did, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.